Pashyanti yam yoginah yasyantam na vidusura suraganaha devaya tasmai namah devaya tasmai namah. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Hunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. I welcome you all for this online session of Bhagavad Gita. I'm guessing it's the 21st session after we went online. This was a part of the Bhagavad Gita sessions which were delivered in person at the Hindu temple of Allentown by teachers of Harsha Vidya Gurukulam. So we are very successfully entered into the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We completed a very long chapter, which is the second chapter. The second chapter, which is called Sankhya Yoga, is itself a complete chapter. Had it not been for Arjuna's question, the third chapter would not have began. And Pujya Swamiji also puts it with a pun that had it not been for Arjuna's question, Gita would have had only two chapters. It would have been easy. We all would have studied. More people would have studied Gita by that, right? So now it's 18 chapters. So this chapter is a very what I should say. It's a very good chapter because we studied about buddhi, jnana, knowledge in the second chapter, and this third chapter is about karma. Once you have knowledge, once you have the right knowledge, right attitude, all that you need to do is the right actions. Or right attitude is such a powerful thing. The right attitude, even if your action goes this way or that way, it may not produce the desired result, but it would provide you the antarkarana shuddhi. That nobody can take away from you. Once you have the buddhi as presented, once you have the knowledge as presented in the second chapter, namely the knowledge of karma yoga, which includes two main components, Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, offering to the Almighty all my actions as and when I perform, and accepting the results of my actions as a gift, prasad, from the same Almighty. That kind of an attitude. Who can stop you if that is what is the attitude you're going to keep with yourself while doing any action, while playing any role? So, with this being told about Karma Yoga and Bhagavan Sri Krishna praising about knowledge, you see, time, we have a certain limited time factor. And, two things can be many sometimes, right? So, Bhagavan's presentation caused this question, Arjuna, which we saw in the last week. Last week, we introduced the third chapter, and also we did the first shloka in the third chapter. And what was that shloka? Jyayasi chet Arjuna uvacha Jyayasi chet karmanas te mata buddhir janardana tatkim karmani ghore ma niyojayasi keshava. This was the shloka. Arjuna is asking, if you consider knowledge as superior, as something to be, one can dedicate himself completely for knowledge, then, hey Bhagavan, tatkim karmani ghore mam, why are you pushing me into taking up to a life of activity as a top priority? And that too, it involves horrible acts of having to fight a battle whose results can be this way or that way in terms of not only in this life, in terms of the life after, because there'll be an uncertainty about how much punya, how much papa, how much merits and demerits one can accrue to such a such a battle involved actions, right? So then Arjuna is continuing. So that was his first question. In the second question, Arjuna is what is he continuing with? He's saying, please decide one thing for me. First question about, these two things are contradicting each other. And second thing was, is asking Bhagavan to decide one thing for him. Right? So we'll see this question. And we saw elaborately, I'm not going to give it up. We saw elaborately how Bhagavan's words and Arjuna's question itself will be taken for inquiry by the commentators for showing how knowledge is what, which is the direct means for what? For removing ignorance. Ignorance about what? Ignorance about yourself. What about yourself? Yourself as that Brahman. What do you mean by Brahman? Brahman means you're not bound by situations and all the shoka, all the sadness and sorrow and whatnot it can give you. You're not bound by those. You're free. You have been always free. That is the knowledge of Brahman or limitlessness. Limitlessness doesn't mean that you have to see yourself as that limitless space or something. No. Limitlessness is something you see here, which itself is limited, right? This is limited. You see here yourself as beyond all that, all the onslaughts of time and space and situations and whatnot. That is limitlessness. And I said that, and I said one thing which everyone liked, which is you see yourself as limitless, you see yourself as not bound, in spite of all the binding roles, in spite of all the limitations. That's what I said. So that is a knowledge. Now, for that knowledge, for self-knowledge, for self-ignorance, self-knowledge is the means, direct means. Actions, karma yoga would help. But here Arjuna has a question regarding which is the direct means and why one over the other and what is the connection. So let us get to the verse number 3, second verse, sorry. Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nischitya yena shreyoham apnuyam. So, what is he asking Arjuna? Second question or second sloka of Arjuna. Vyamishreneva, hey Bhagavan, you are speaking as though you're speaking two things which are self-contradictory, as though self-contradictory. And what else? And you appear to be confusing my mind. Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva iva. That iva means as though. It appears to be like that. Tat ekam vada nishchitya. Please decide and let me know one thing. Yena aham shreyaha apniyam. That shreyas, that knowledge, that self-knowledge which I have been seeking, which I wanted, that shreyas, how am I going to get with that thing which you're going to choose for me? So this is Arjuna's question. So this time he's asking Bhagavan to choose one for him. And he's ready, and he says he's ready to take it up, right? So in this shloka, so Vamishrena means militamiva, mixed up. Two things, they seem contradictory. If I take up to karma, all that I'll occur is punya and papa. And you may say punya is good, why not? Punya can at the best give you a better sharira. Suppose if you like someone's height, and suppose if you like someone's appearance, wow, he looks very smart. I wish I had his looks, or I wish I had her looks. Huh? And say if you're doing a lot of punya, at the best, Bhagavan will give you a sharira which might or might not look like that person for you, not now, in your next birth. That's all. That's the maximum we can expect. So there is a binding. Karma is always binding. It's not going to liberate. It's going to put you again back in this churning wheel. So then, whereas knowledge is liberating. See how they both are opposite, right? So when you talk about two opposite things, there's a chance for confusion. That's what our Arjuna is presenting to Bhagavan. So then, sorry about that. And then, Sankirnamiva, Todiya Buddhi Vyamohamiva. Our Puja Swamiji is picking up something from this. He says, look how Arjuna is communicating, how well he is presenting himself. He has a question, but he doesn't say Arjuna doesn't say to Bhagavan Sri Krishna, you are confusing me. He doesn't even say that. It looks as though you may have the best intent. You may have the best choice of words, but to me it appears confusing. There's two eva. One eva for you sound as though confusing, and other eva, my mind appears to be as though confused. So that is the beauty of that language which Arjuna is using. So Bhagavan or Puja Swamiji says, when you ask a question, especially based on someone's response, when you want to really know, you don't put the question in a way where the other person becomes defensive. He should feel even free to open himself up and present himself. This is all Puja Swamiji is bringing up just based on this question. And after that, you see, as I told you, technically also, if you look at karma, what is the confusion here? I just mentioned about the confusion in terms of karma and knowledge. But what is coming to my mind, which I think I should present to you, is when you do a karma, it has got four kinds of results, four types of results. When you do an action can have four types of results. One is utpadya. It can produce something. Action can produce something, right? Then the next one is vikarya. It can modify something. Actions can affect a change. It can modify something when you want to act upon something for a modification, right? The third is samskarya. It can embellish something. It can embellish something. It can add more beauty, right? So utpadya, like when you throw the seed, the act of throwing the seed will produce the crop. That is utpadya. And the next one is I said this. What I said, I'll come in the end. Utpadya. Then the next one I said was samskarya. Before that I said vikarya. So change. So you take buttermilk and add a little yogurt. The vikara has happened. The modification has happened where the buttermilk has become yogurt the next day. The milk has become yogurt. Sorry, Swamiji, thank you. And then samskarya. So you take the ore, gold ore, and then you keep heating up. It gives up all its dirt and impurities, and it becomes pure shining gold, right? The more you heat up, more gold comes out. That is another thing, another example for what you can achieve by actions, which is samskara, which is embellishment. And finally, as Swamiji was saying, prapya, you can go and by your action, you can go from one place to other to get something, traveling, getting something. These are the 4 types of results. These are the 4 types of results you can expect from any activity. And suppose if something you produce, if it's going to stay forever, that's not going to happen, right? So it undergoes change, and then you have to again produce what you need to produce. So this action goes on. There's always a limitation in the result what an action can provide. You purify something, you make something clean, you clean your room. Does it stay like that? Even if nobody stays, you come after a few days, there's so much dirt to clean up, right? So any action, any result of any action is limited. That's what I wanted to tell through all these different types of results. Whereas knowledge, action is like this. What am I comparing action with? I'm comparing action with limited results with knowledge. Knowledge is true to the object. The knowledge of a flower vase is true to what a flower vase is when you see a flower vase. There's no different types of knowledge. Just like there were different types of action, there's no different types of knowledge, and there's no role of your will. Once you open your eyes, knowledge takes place. If that knowledge is about a form, once you keep your ears open, knowledge takes place, which can be in the form of sound. So this is how knowledge is different from action, and knowledge is true to the object. So if the knowledge is about your limitlessness, then it is true to that object, true to that quality of limitlessness. So that is a knowledge we are talking about. So you see how knowledge is such a enticing thing to pursue. So that is what is the difference, and Arjuna is asking for some clarity and some directions. There's a story told by Puja Swamiji, this story of Ravana, where Ravana is he has kidnapped Sita, and he is not sure if he did the right thing. He wants to feel that he did the right thing. He wants everyone to make him feel that he did the right thing. So he has a minister by name Prahasta. Thank you, Swami. So Prahasta, he would ask him, what is this? Did he do the right thing? And depending on how Ravana's tone, Prahasta used to answer. If Ravana's tone is a little doubtful, I don't think I did the right thing. What do you think? Then Prahasta would immediately say, yeah, I also don't think you did the right thing. Rama is not someone you want to mess with. And he will talk about Rama. And the moment he talks a little bit about Rama, Ravana gets a little wild and he changes his tone. What do you say? Why do you think I did something wrong? Then Prahasta would, don't you think I did the right thing? After all, and Prahasta would change his presentation and say, maybe you did the right thing. What can Rama do to you? So this is, you cannot go this way, that way. A teacher has to be clearly telling, right? So that is the expectation of Arjuna through this question, right? And so what I want to tell you from this question is either knowledge, either a pursuit of knowledge or a pursuit of action is what our Arjuna is expecting from Bhagavan. And so it is very clear just by the question, by these 2 questions, that knowledge along with action together is not that technical combination. Samuchaya is not what will give, is not the one which is the direct cause for moksha. The direct cause for direct cause for self-knowledge is removing self-ignorance through knowledge. So that much, because Jayasi in the previous verse, knowledge was put above action, and Bhagavan is not denying that. So that means that is true. What he said was true. That all we'll see. And so Arjuna is not asking one thing amongst the two, just because Bhagavan had sometime in the past told him that, hey, Arjuna, you please ask me only one thing. If you ask for both, you're asking for too much. That's not what Bhagavan said in the past, right? So that is all making it clear that we should be very clear in our mind that what is the direct means for self-knowledge, and how does whatever other means are, how are they going to fit in? So that we need to see. Now Bhagavan's answer is going to be coming up in the next verse. Shall we go to the next verse, Swami?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the next verse, Bhagavan is answering in keeping with the question. What does it mean? Bhagavan's answer does not say Arjuna is wrong. His question is, yes, you are right. That is the Bhagavan's answer. And Bhagavan is explaining himself. That is the next verse. And is categorizing beautifully. And this verse is a very important verse for our own clarity. Let's see this verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Dvividha Nishta Pura Prokta Maya Nagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Thank you so much. Hey Anagha, hey sinless one, blemishless one. Who is the blemishless one? This is Bhagavan Uvacha, right? So Bhagavan is addressing who as the sinless one? Is addressing Arjuna as the sinless one. And in the beginning, in this world, Asmin Loke, Dvividha Nishta, Asmin Loke, Pura, in the beginning of the world, in the days of yore, two kinds of lifestyle, two kinds of committed lifestyle, two kinds. Don't forget this. Two kinds of committed lifestyle was told by me. What is that? Maya pura prokta kim? Sankhyanam jnana yogena. For the one who have this buddhi, as explained in the second chapter, Sankhya buddhi, the one who have the discernment, the one who have the discretion, one who have the knowledge regarding what is Atma, what is self, one who has a clarity, they can take up to the lifestyle of Jnana Yoga. Here yoga means pursuit. The pursuit of knowledge. The pursuit of knowledge can be full time for those people. And then Karma Yogena Yoginam. And for the one who are preparing themselves, for them, Karma Yogena, they have to take up to a lifestyle of activity. They cannot take up to a lifestyle of renunciation. Jnana Yogena Yoginam, they can take up that would mean the other group, which I told just before, they can take up to the lifestyle of renunciation, whereas the one who is preparing himself, he has to take up to a lifestyle of activity, Karma Yogena Yoginam, and with the attitude of Karma Yoga. So this is the translation. As I told, it's an important verse. So our commentaries are there. We need to see what it reveals. So here, loka word mean asmin loke means in this world. That world means the people, all of us, all the Vaidikas. Who Vaidikas just doesn't mean Brahmanas. Vaidikas means who all trust the Vedas, who have the background of being connected to Vedas in terms of puja or whatnot, bhajan or whatnot, all those people. Shastrartha Anushtana Adhikritanam, one who is interested in pursuing what the Shastra is revealing. Adhikritanam, one is qualified. And Traivarnikanam is there. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya. It can be, I always say, where the fourth Varna, Shudra, is a placeholder. What is a placeholder? Anyone can be a Shudra. Swamiji used to say in Manusmriti, when somebody is traveling, he is a Shudra. Whoever he may be. In the sense, he cannot follow what the Shastra has mandated for him, right? So whenever we don't follow, that is how it is. So that is why the placeholder is very important. So that placeholder is in terms of a fourth category. A Shudra category is very important. Why? People give all sorts of reasons. They have the arms and legs and all that. No, as I told you, anybody can be a Shudra, right? So why is that placeholder important? So you can still continue to be a Hindu. You are not, no Bahishkarana. No exclusion. Everybody is included. Right? That is out. Because some religion, Buddhism, for example, they have mandated vegetarianism for everybody. But unfortunately, since they have mandated it for everybody, you'll see there's no scope. There's no category like we have here, like a Shudra category. There's no category. So what they do? They are everybody eats meat there. So you have to have a category where people who cannot follow certain things, they can also fit in. So that is about this Trivarnika. The focus is here, coming back to this verse. For those people, Bhagavan has told something. What he has told? Dviprakara nishtha. Nishtha word you see, right? Lokesmin dvivida nishtha. You should remember the last chapter also, we have used the word nishtha. Nishtha in the last chapter would mean steadfastness. Nishtha in this chapter would mean lifestyle. It's a slight difference only. Here it means lifestyle. And told by who? Who has given this nishtha? Maya, by me. Pura. When did you talk about this, Bhagavan? Pura. Purvam. Pura means from time immemorial. It's not like yesterday. It's not like just last chapter. Just from time immemorial, I have presented. Pura prokta. Prokta itself is in a past tense. When you add a pura, it means it is remote past, you can say. Long back, long back. Nobody knows how long. I've been always telling this. That's what Bhagavan is saying. And Sargada Praja Srishtva. Srishtva, Bhagavan is saying, he's also giving when he told, in the sense, from the beginning of the Srishti, I created the Srishti, Bhagavan is saying, and I also right away gave these two nishtha, these two lifestyles. Bhagavan is saying, Swamiji asked me to go back and read the introduction to Gita by Shankaracharya, and there you will see Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankaracharya is saying that when Brahmaji created the world, he gave these two lifestyles. Through Brahmaji, Bhagavan has given these two lifestyles. Because Brahmaji created Manu, and from Manu all the humanus from Manu. And Shatarupi is his partner, wife. And that is one lifestyle of taking up to a life of a grahastha ashrama, of a life of activity. The other lifestyle Bhagavan Brahmaji did was His in his Srishti was Sanat, Sanandan, Sanatan, Sanat Kumara. Four brothers, all Bhagavan's Manasa Putra, from his mind, Bhagavan's from Brahmaji's mind. And what did they do? What did they do? They took up to a lifestyle of renunciation right after birth. They were already, they were when they were born from Brahmaji's mind. They were already, I think, some Kumaras. They may be not 5, 7, 10 years old, and they already took up to the lifestyle of renunciation. So this has been there from the beginning of the creation. That's what Bhagavan is saying here. And why would Bhagavan do this? Because people have different needs, binna ruchi, that all can be put together as abhyudaya nishreyasa. People have so much needs in this life and in the life after also, or in this life in terms of self-knowledge. Everything is included. So only different lifestyles can make justice to all these things. So Bhagavan had made these two lifestyles. That is important to remember. If you're going to ask me, where was Bhagavan? Bhagavan Sri Krishna is just talking in this. He was just born before Arjuna, some few years, maybe same age. Somebody says between Arjuna and Krishna. So what do you mean by what do you mean Bhagavan by saying you had created long before? He says as Bhagavan, as Ishvara has created this. Sarvajnaha Ishvarena. So Bhagavan is here not just talking as a friend of Arjuna, but he is talking as the Ishvara himself. So that is the Bhagavan's statement, that he had created these two lifestyles. Now, what are those two lifestyles? We just saw briefly, but look at what Bhashyakara says. So, what are those two lifestyles? Jnanameva yoga. Jnana yoga means yoga here is what? Yoga here is lifestyle. Yoga here is commitment. Commitment to what? Yoga, you used to be connected, but then yoga is to be associated. But here yoga is to be committed. Committed to what? The first category can be the ones who are committed to knowledge, self-knowledge. And can anyone commit to self-knowledge? You have to have some mental preparation. So those people who have that mind are called Sankhyana, plural, for the Sankhyas. Atmanatma Vishaya Viveka Vijnanavatam. They know clearly. So if somebody gives you some rice with some sesame seeds, black sesame seeds, white rice and black sesame seeds, someone who doesn't know what is right and what is rice and what is sesame seeds, he would take it up and start cooking. But one who knows, he would say sesame seeds are not meant to be cooked along with rice, he will remove it. So that kind of a categorization, one who's very clear about the difference in terms of what is Atma and what is Anatma, who is the knower and what is all the known. One who knows that there is nothing like Atma. There is no two Atmas. And that one Atma is everyone's Atma. One who knows that, he has to pursue a lifestyle of knowledge. And how much committed he should be, he can even take up to that lifestyle from brahmacharya. 4 ashramas, right? I can tell you just quickly. The 4 stages of life. So first is the stage of a student. Student is brahmacharya. He's not married yet. He's studying, committed to study. Then at some point in life, they take up to a lifestyle of a householder. Second stage. Don't confuse with the lifestyle I'm talking. So this is the second stage, householder, grihastha. And then vanaprastha. Vanaprastha is the third. It means, then he gives up, he along with his family, maybe his wife, he goes giving up his, partially at least giving up his responsibility for contemplative lifestyle in terms of visiting temples. Vanaprastha would mean vanaprastham. prasthanam towards a forest. Those days they used to do that. In Kali Yuga, Vanaprastha ashrama is nisheda. There's a smriti. In Kali Yuga, Vanaprastha is not there. You're not supposed to go and live in forest. Very convenient, right? So what you should do? Instead of that, they go to different pilgrimage. Go to Kashi, go to Rameshwaram. Take the Prithvi, Parthiva Linga. Take the sand of Rameshwaram. Make 1,000 lingas, 1,000 small Shiva Linga in terms of the the linga form, and make 1,000 of them and carefully take them and to Kashi, and maybe do some Abhisheka Puja of Ganga water there, and bring them, and you have to come back to Rameshwaram. So that means coming back is also there in these days, and dissolve that in the ocean. So all this is, I'm just briefly telling, there's so much involved, and visit several other temples while going and while coming. So this is called Vanaprastha ashrama. And when you had done enough, and then there's a retirement plan also. Vanaprastha is also very tiring. Go once in one car in the heat of India for 2 hours just to visit a temple. You visit and come back, you're all dead tired. So Vanaprastha is also tiring. So what do? There's a retirement plan in our different stages of life. What is that? In our ashrama vyavastha. What is that? That is called sannyasa. Sannyasa is a retirement plan. You can do that also. That is it. These are the 4 stages in life. So why I'm saying this? For the one who has taken up the knowledge, jnana yogena sankhyanam, coming back to the shloka, he can, from a life of a student life, he can straight away go to the life of a sannyasa life, like Shankaracharya Maharaj did. Shankaracharya Maharaj took up to a lifestyle of sannyasa. From brahmacharya, he went straight to the lifestyle of sannyasa. So this has been there from the beginning of the creation. Why? Go back and think. What did I say about Brahmaji's creation? Sanad, Sanandan, Sanatan, Sanat Kumar, they were there, right? So right from there, this tradition was also there to take up to a lifestyle of sannyasa, right from the lifestyle of brahmacharya, and we have all the Shankara Mata and all having they are proponents of this lifestyle. For one who is having that Sankhya Buddhi, that mind. And in fact, he should commit to a lifestyle so much of, once he becomes sannyasa, it's not that he has given up everything. No, he can give up even japa, tapa and all that. But he has to commit to shravana. He has to commit to listening to a teacher and make his knowledge steadfast. Nishtha. After all, everything is for that, right? So that has to be taken up. Although sannyasa would mean samyak nyasa, having given up everything very categorically, clearly. Sannyasas, you know what they do? Swamiji is explaining all this. They would also, what do they technically give up? Or they give up all action in the sense Vedic karma. In the Vedic karma, there's a Shraddha karma. What is Shraddha karma? For the ancestors, they do some rituals. And this sannyasi would do some ritual for all his ancestors, even if they are alive, before taking sannyasa. They won't, I don't know how they would feel, right? Well, even before that, let me tell you, he would do an Atma Shraddha also. He will do a Shraddha for himself. He will do the final rituals, final ancestral rituals for himself as though he is no more. That much giving up of actions are there. But taking up to Shravana, taking up to listening to the teacher for this commitment of this knowledge, for the steadfastness in this knowledge. And so that is one thing. Now, this sannyasi, does he have to be a jnani? Does he have to be a wise man, one who is having that steadfastness already? No. Suppose someone has that steadfastness, even before taking sannyasa, like Yajnavalkya. Like Yajnavalkya is another rishi, another seer, another sage. So the one who has that knowledge already, he may or may not, he can take up to a lifestyle of sannyasa. The one who wants to commit himself with having the necessary preparation, he can also take up to the lifestyle of sannyasa for pursuing this knowledge full time. So he may not be a jnani, he may not be a wise man yet, but he can pursue. So he's a jignasu with preparation. What is the preparation? We'll see. So this is technically called vidvat sannyasa. Vidvat sannyasa is the one who is having the knowledge, who has the steadfastness, like Yajnavalkya, and then he's just taking up akar robes. He's taking up the akar robe of, he's becoming a monk, taking up to be a monk, just to give the maryada for the ashrama. Everyone, they give the maryada for the ashrama. They give respect for the fourth stage by just taking it up. And the one who is working on this knowledge, who is taking up to a lifestyle of renunciation, he's called, one is still working on, work in progress. What would he be called? He cannot be called Vidvat Sannyasa. His name is Vividisha Sannyasa. Vetum Ichchati. He is in the pursuit. He wants to know. Veditum Ichchati. Thank you, Swami. That is the Vividisha Sannyasa. These are the two categories. And what else? Shankaracharya Maharaj, was he when he took up to sannyasa, what was he a Vidvat sannyasa? He might have been a Vidvat sannyasa. Was he a Vividisha sannyasa? Was he the one who is trying to seek yet, who's trying to still know, and that's why he took sannyasa? Because he took when he was only 9 years old or 8 years old. How much would the 8-year-old boy know? So which category would put him? So we don't know. He is a Mahatma. We cannot judge him, right? We cannot say he belongs to this category. To put him in Vidvat Sannyasa category, we should be a Vidvat. We should have that knowledge. And we can definitely not put in the other category also. And the third category, Puja Swami, Apat Sannyasa. His story is interesting, where he will be chased by a crocodile when he was taking bath. His mom is on the shore, and this crocodile will grab his feet and his foot, and he would tell his mom, this crocodile will release me, provided I take up to sannyasa. So mom said, anything to save you. So he just took sannyasa. Once his mother said, Aryamba, I think, right? Said that, please, may you release my son. May Bhagavan protect my son. He is given to sannyasa. I'm giving him to sannyasa. Then the crocodile released. That is the story. So apat means when there is a danger, when there is an end of life situation, some people take sannyasa. That is called apat sannyasa. So that category, definitely we can put our Shankaracharya Bhagavan, but he is a jnani. He is a wise man. No doubt about that, right? So this is about sannyasa. Wasn't it interesting? Now, what is the other lifestyle? Because the sloka doesn't end with this one. Other lifestyle is called karma yoga. Karma yogena yoginam. Right? This is the last part of the sloka, right? So what is the karma this karma yogi is taking up to? Dharmakyam karma. He is taking up the right dharma. In the case of Arjuna, Kshatriya dharma. In the case of yourself, dharma of a stri, dharma of a purusha, dharma of a father, dharma of a son, what not, a professional, dharma of a contributor to the society in whatever way. So taking up to that dharma, taking up to that activity. Karma yogena yogina. That is the nishtha. They are taking up to the activity. They are playing all their roles, trying to play all their roles perfectly. perfectly, don't feel it is beyond your reach. Perfectly role playing is to have the attitude of yoga. As I told you right in the beginning, Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, offering to Bhagavan and receiving everything as offering your activity to Bhagavan and receiving the result as prasada. So you continue like that. Now, that is the shloka. What is the intent in the shloka if you look at it? Yadi cha ekena purushena ekasmi purusharthaya. If for one person, take for example Arjuna, or take yourself, for the same person, for one end in view. What is that one end? For the one end in view, jnanam, knowledge and action, if both have been told, and if Bhagavan's intent is to say that, you have to do a combo. You're a Rambo, you do a combo. So both, dedicate your time for both. And dedication is okay, but again, don't get distracted by all this. What I'm by thinking that we have to do everything together. What I'm trying to say is, Bhagavan is not saying for the final end in terms of moksha. He is not saying by prescribing two different lifestyles in this shloka for two different groups of people. Bhagavan is definitely not saying that you have to actually do a combination of both and only then the fire will happen. No. You have to have a combination of a spark and some oxygen only when you can light up the stove. No, this kind of a combination is not required when it comes to self-knowledge, because the problem is self-ignorance, and ignorance can be resolved by knowledge directly. So had Bhagavan had this intent of combining, he would not have told even this shloka saying that, there is two lifestyles. That's what the point is. And one cannot say that Bhagavan maybe wants Arjuna to take up to both lifestyles. I don't know how. Renunciation and action. Renunciation of action and action. Doesn't it sound opposite? Doesn't they both sound opposite? Yeah. So Bhagavan maybe wanted Arjuna to somehow take up to both. Maybe Bhagavan for all of us in Kali Yuga, maybe Bhagavan had told, has been asking to take up one lifestyle. If that is the intent in the shloka, if that is the intent in the shloka, then it means Bhagavan is partial. It becomes Bhagavan has got raga dvesha. that will be a wrong conclusion about the Almighty, right? So what else? What more? Samam sarveshu bhuteshu. Bhagavan is all, is equal to all. So whatever he says in this, it's applied, it's applicable to every one of us. And what did he say? He said there are two types of lifestyles. And he did not reject Arjuna's original proposition that Jayasi looks like knowledge is a direct means compared to karma. He did not reject that. So, which means that stays. That originally that knowledge as the direct means stays, and tasyaschya jnananishtayaha sannyasinam eva anušteyatvam bhinna purushanušteyatve vachanachya bhagavatah evameva. What is it saying? Tasyaha cha jnananishtayaha sannyasinam eva. So Bhagavan says two lifestyles. Clearly says two lifestyles. Bhagavan says knowledge. Bhagavan, in terms of by not rejecting Arjuna's proposition, Bhagavan is also agreeing that there is knowledge is a direct means. Number two. And third conclusion is also important. For the sannyasa lifestyle of giving up all activities is for the one who is for the sannyasa, it is applicable. This giving up, renunciation is for sannyasis. Renunciation is not for us. Renunciation is only for sannyasas and full-time pursuit. So these three, so because that is been told as a separate lifestyle. So these three things are the conclusion which our Shankaracharya Maharaj is deriving from the shloka and the shlokas before, and proceeding to the next shloka. So before we proceed to the next shloka, please remember there are two types of lifestyles. I'm just summarizing the shloka. Two types of lifestyles. One is a lifestyle of one involves renunciation and taking up to the pursuit of knowledge. Other involves action and taking up to a pursuit of karma ishvara in terms of karma yoga. Karma yoga. To a lifestyle of activity with the attitude of the buddhi of karma yoga. These two are the lifestyles. So naturally, you know where Arjuna, which lifestyle is suitable for Arjuna, and we'll also see more about that. And there's so much to, so much is being told in the next verse regarding this. Very nice. So next verse is also very important verse, in my opinion. Commentator, our Bhashyakara Maharaj has given more commentary on the next verse. So why this previous verse, if you look at it, see, that is where people have the confusion. They have the confusion that Bhagavan is saying that there are more than one means. There are more than one lifestyles. But the means, the direct means for self-knowledge is knowledge. More than two, there are two lifestyles. People confuse the lifestyles as means. They say there is more than a few means. They use the word path also. Path of knowledge, path of action. The path of knowledge for the discerning one. Pujya Swamiji's flowery way of, being critical about this area where there's a little confusion. Path of knowledge for the inquiring one. The path of devotion for the emotional one. And the path of action for the restless one. I'm just adding up. Okay, for the extrovert, Swamiji, thank you. And for the introvert, maybe the path of dhyana. For the contemplative one, the path. So it's not that different paths are there. And if you go and ask people, really talk, and then they confuse also, right? But the teacher has to be clear. The teacher has to be clear, and he has to see what is the direct means, and he can even place the other means properly. But we should know what is the direct means very clearly, right? So that is the role of the teacher. All this has been told by Pujya Swamiji in his discussion. Now let's go to the next shloka, which is something we can start today, and we can keep it for next week. We'll do the shloka. Before that, there's quite a bit of introduction for this shloka. So, what is the introduction? Arjuna is now is little perplexed. His question is answered, but Arjuna can be a little still thoughtful, still pensive, in a pensive mood. What is this, Bhagavan? Looks like he's prescribing me to take up to activity. Looks like Bhagavan, from what his answer, I can see, I fit into the category where I have to take up to a lifestyle of activity. So what would happen if I don't do any activity? What would happen if I don't do any? Anarabe. Na arabe iti evam manyamanam. If I decide I don't want to do any action, theoretically, if I decide not to do any action, what is my lot? What's going to happen? So this can be Arjuna's question. And Arjuna's question can also be, we'll just look at this introduction and do the verse. This introduction may take another few minutes, 2 or 4 minutes. It's a very good introduction. Or it can be that, what else can be the reason why this, what else can be the reason? Athava jnana karmanishtayoho paraspara virodhat. We saw, so either Arjuna can be little pensive that he has to take up to a life of activity, and what happens if I don't take up to any activity? What happens if I don't take up to any activity? Or having Bhagavan told in the previous shloka two types of lifestyles, are they independent? Are these two types of lifestyles independent? We have dismissed we have dismissed that they cannot be two different means for self-knowledge. If that is the case, then they cannot be independent. They cannot be independent. And if a person like Arjuna has to pursue, how does he pursue these two lifestyles, which are seemingly opposite? One is giving up, other is taking up. What? Giving up action, taking up action. So how do they connect? Karmanishtaya nananishtaha prati hetutvena. One, the karmanishta, taking up to a life of activity, can support, can prepare, if it can prepare oneself to that lifestyle where there is taking up to a lifestyle of sannyasa, which means giving up activity. So if this taking up activity can help in giving up activity in terms of knowledge, it's not just giving up. In terms of, that is what Arjuna wanted, right? He just wanted to give up. No, that's not the way we're talking about. Giving up the activity in terms of knowledge. Jnanishta prati hetutvena. Can this be like that? Can Karma Yoga prepare one for Jnana? Can Karma Yoga prepare one for Jnana Yoga? Is it there? Is that the connection? If Karma Yoga is dependent on non-Jnana Yoga, it is not the direct means, it is the indirect means for moksha, because Jnana only gives moksha. What is the Jnana itself? Is it dependent on Karma Yoga, or is it independent in producing knowledge? A pursuit of knowledge, is it independent in giving us the end result? It is independent. It is independent as a means to give knowledge. But to get to that mental preparation, we need Karma Yoga. If this is the connection. So this connection has to be brought out. I've been telling several times. It may look like I've been telling the same thing several times, but please, it may, even if it sounds like that, in your mind, you please make these all connections very clear. Even if you don't make the connection, at least make it clear that Karma Yoga helps in preparation of oneself, mind, by giving Antakarana Shuddhi and Jnana. If this is the case, then Bhagavan has to say that, and he's saying that in this shloka, which shloka we'll see right now. Quickly, we'll just read the shloka, read the translation and explanation. We'll keep it for next week. Na karmanāmanārambhāt naishkarmyam purushošnute na ca sanyasanādeva siddhim samadhigacchati. Wow. So, Purushaha, person, karmanam anarambhad, a person not just by just not doing anything, giving up all activity right away, here and now. Naishkarmyam, a person does not get to the state of actionlessness, freedom in action. He doesn't achieve that freedom in action by non-performance. The freedom in action is not achieved by non-performance. Let us make it all very clear. By just abstaining from action, that is not going to happen. And nor does success or liberation happen merely through renunciation. Sannyas, nacha sanyasana deva. Just by renunciation, taking up to the lifestyle of sannyasa, come what it may be. I'll just give up everything. Just by taking up to a lifestyle of sannyasa, just by doing that, change in your life, that's not going to lead you to liberation or moksha or success in this pursuit. How nicely Bhagavan is presenting it, right? So this details we'll see in the next session. Thank you all for being with me for one more session. See you all next week again. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat